A story of warm affection for the American flag. You see it on the news, the American flag burning. You see someone kneeling instead of standing. Maybe it is abroad from those who hate Americans. Maybe it's here with those who hate who America is on a college campus, or with those who wish to make America something it can't or shouldn't be, protesting in the streets with the flag ablaze. For most of American history, there was a warmth of affection towards the American flag. What it stood for meant something to all Americans. We need to recover this warm affection. It's rooted in something very good. When was the last time you felt warm affection for the flag? Have you let the current news cycles, political cycles, world turmoil, or maybe our enemies of the flag, have they caused you to lose your warmth or eclipse the warmth of affection for the flag without you even realizing it? The American flag, of course, is primarily a symbol of freedom. The Star-Spangled Banner, our national anthem, penned by Francis Scott Key during the War of 1812 with Great Britain, sings beautiful words of the freedom the American flag represents. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? The flag still waving has meant for centuries now that America is still free. The American flag's symbolism is rich. 13 red and white stripes represent the first 13 colonies. Old Glory, red, valor, bravery, sacrifice. White, purity and innocence. Old Glory, blue, perseverance, endurance, grit, and determination. The 50 stars, all 50 of the United States of America, the 50th added in 1960 with Hawaii. It's really a remarkable symbol of Americans' freedom and national unity. I have a personal confession. I haven't always had a warmth of affection for the American flag. Generally, I was never directly opposed to her symbolism or hostile to it. It was not something that was impressed upon me from a young age, and whatever education there was in American history, it was not in the direction of building a warm affection for the flag. It was a lack of warmth, not hostility so much, an absence of something that should have been there. When we moved into our current home, there was a flagpole and also a flag light to light up the flag overnight. I didn't expect I would ever hang a flag myself, so I removed the flagpole. Years later, I regret that decision. Shame on me. Our home's previous owners were examples, following in the lines of the man whose warm affection for the American flag led to him naming it Old Glory. The man's name was William Driver. Patriots like him have warmed my affections for the flag as I have aged, and especially as American freedoms have been under greater attack amongst our own people. That is why this work is personal, to educate, celebrate, remember, and inspire us to be like the American heroes all around us and in America's past, lest we lose the freedom they enjoyed. Maybe there are some ways that you can make it personal also for the building up of our nation, for the saving endurance of our freedoms. William Driver, born in 1803 in Salem, Massachusetts, he was raised amongst seafarers in a maritime community and became a sea captain at the ripe old age of 21. In 1831, ready to set sail for the long journey to the South Pacific for trade and commerce, his mother and her friends gave him a large flag that they had made as a gift. The flag was 17 feet by 10 feet. It is huge. It puts a little new meaning into how proudly she waves as he sailed the world's oceans with Old Glory waving from the mast for over a decade. Think with me for a moment. What has happened in the last 200 years that 21-year-old men went from being sea captains to being 30 and 40-year-old men living with their mothers playing video games all day? What has happened to manhood? What has happened to having expectations for great things from young men? What has happened to inspiring young men to great responsibilities and great risk for the good of others? The conceit of moderns to judge men of history as dumber and worse than themselves is quite a fascinating study when you think about what men accomplished today versus what they accomplished then. Let's all work to recover the good of what was normal in the American spirit. now more than ever. After retiring from sea in 1837, Driver eventually made his home in Nashville, Tennessee, which little did he know would be right in the middle of the Civil War. As tensions rose through the 1860s, Driver proudly had displayed that flag he affectionately named Old Glory from his home. Even when the states were divided, he loved the unity that the flag represented of one nation with 24 states, at the time represented by 24 stars. As war tensions built, a divided state of Tennessee eventually voted to secede from the Union in June of 1861. With battle looming, Confederate armies encroaching on Nashville, he hid Old Glory in a mattress to keep her safe. The flag made by his mother, flown around the world at sea and proudly waving for 30-plus years at his home, he risked his life to save and preserve not just the flag, but for sure what the flag represented. Courage has often required what is of value to be hidden from enemies. During this same period, slaves were being hidden away by those who believed they deserved freedom through the Underground Railroad. Every proper act, as such, is representative of American bravery. Ultimately, the Union armies prevailed in Nashville, Tennessee. Tennessee became the first state to rejoin the Union. At that moment, William Driver proudly raised Old Glory at the state capitol in a patriotic act that has almost become legend. The name Old Glory is synonymous with the American flag to this day, inspiring works like the Old Glory coin cryptocurrency project. The original Old Glory flag is now preserved at the Smithsonian National Museum for all to look on her and remember how proudly she waves. Her beauty is worn from many decades of waving at sea and on land, but what she stands for lives on in this great American story. Can I encourage you to do something today, patriot or freedom lover abroad? Take a few moments and gaze upon the American flag and reflect on what she stands for. If we lose what she stands for, we lose freedom. One way to preserve freedom is to recultivate a warmth of affection for Old Glory, following in William Driver's patriotic example. Think about it. Thank you for listening. Please like, follow, and subscribe to support more content promoting freedom that endures for future generations. As always, this content is brought to you by the Old Glory Coin Token. If you want to support our effort to preserve freedom for the next generation, please consider holding the Old Glory Coin Token and sending these messages along to people you know who want to do the same.